friends. Hey, friends. Hey, friends. This is Rose, Coach Rose AJ, coming to holla at you with Carnivore Plus a little bit more. In the studio today, I have with me.
Becky Elliott from Fort Worth, Texas.
And Brenda Ramirez from Olympia, Washington.
Woo! I'm so happy to have both of you ladies here as my co-hosts today as we go ahead and get started and introduce ourselves and why we are here on this podcast and YouTube series together. So I'm just going to pass the mic and give it to Miss Becky to let her explain to us why she's here and why she's on this journey with me, besides just being asked to do it, but all that good stuff. And then you'll go, Miss Brenda, and then I'll go.
I'm excited to be here with you, Rose. I enjoyed meeting you in person a couple of months ago and sitting around at Starbucks and chatting about our history. I really enjoyed getting together and learning more about your journey and sharing my journey with somebody who's on it. Um, I am a realtor, so I'm out and about and I see quite a few people, but not too many people are carnivores. So it's nice to be able to have that conversation with other carnivores.
And I am very glad to be a part of this group because I have found over the last couple of years, a little over 3 years being carnivore, that my personal connections are very limited for who eats like I do. And I do find that when I do share about this carnivore lifestyle, I do get people are curious and want to know. And I really like the way you, Rose, have this carnivore connection, or actually it's more than just carnivore, but you have a great way of connecting people. And I really am looking forward to sharing the word about the carnivore lifestyle and working towards optimal health for us ladies over 50, actually anybody. I really want to encourage people to be open to learning and listening and finding encouragement for how they can improve their eating and lifestyles, just working towards optimal health. You just have a great way of connecting, and I'm glad to have met Becky recently online, but one of these days I bet we'll meet up. Yeah.
Absolutely, because you two ladies are my virtual besties, right? It's kind of like I want to be everybody's friend. I want to just be everybody's friend, right?
I
But I
think you do
think
a
what
great job
really,
of that.
pardon?
I said, I think you do a great job of that.
Thank you. But I think what really ties us, besides being carnivore and women that are over 50, is the plus a little bit more. We have discussed so many topics under the sun virtually already that it would only make sense that we come together and talk about conversations, our real life experiences, or even things that might be in the media that have impacted us, or some tips and tricks that we are finding that are working for us, right? And so it's kind of like us catching up on air or over the airwaves. We're just three friends having a chat and having the conversation. And for me, I need to keep developing pockets of communities with like-minded people. And that's my selfish reason for doing this, right? To keep spreading the word, to keep connecting, and to kind of like dream out loud and sound off to other people and see what they think about my wild, crazy life or thought or whatever. So, with that being said, Brenda, you specifically, we have met in person as well as me and Becky have met in person. Do you think that meeting in person kind of cements the deal with a virtual relationship, or do you think you could be just as close to someone virtually if you have not met them?
Oh, that is interesting because I I think it cements the deal. It's like you can develop a relationship virtually. It's awesome, but in having an in-person connection really is just makes it more special. It makes it more real. and it was just another layer of the the relationship. It was so fun to meet you in person and actually talk, and the other ladies that I met with you. It's I'm looking forward to seeing them again, and just it makes it more real. That it really does.
What about you, Becky? I met you in person. I was just like, here in Texas, have a cup of coffee. What was it like for you? Because you did meet some ladies in your local area as well. How was it for you?
I agree. I'm wondering if maybe that's a generational thing also,
Mm,
because of our age, we're more used to the human contact and being together. I definitely felt a stronger connection to the ladies that I met that day versus the ones that I've had in some of the other virtual groups that I've been in. And that was just one day versus
Yeah.
a couple of weeks of time
Mhm.
chatting online. So I definitely felt a better connection in person.
Right on, right on. I always opt for in-person communication or meetups if possible, but sometimes our lives don't intersect in that capacity. And virtual meetups or groups are just fine too, but I love the in-person first and foremost. Here's some topics that you guys are hoping to discuss on air virtually together. Like I have a whole slew of them, but I want to hear from you guys.
I the different types of carnivore that there
Mm.
are, I think is something that would be interesting to talk about. Um, the the issues that we deal with as a 50 plus female, um, talking to doctors, being assertive, those types of things are things interested to hear your both of your opinions on and support with.
There's so many things. I'm always open to new um, things I haven't done yet, as far as biohacks. Things that we can do to improve our health in some way. There's a lot of those things that I've dabbled in, tried, or maybe there's many more that I still have yet to do. Also, personal experiences uh, and hormones, talking about hormones, things like that, dealing with family or friends, and how we can manage or respond to situations that come up where we're basically concerned about family or friends' health, and maybe how we can approach them or introduce things to them, as well as how to respond to those that may think we're crazy.
And so for me, it's all of that plus just day to day, the day to day living. And I
Mm-hmm.
know we're at three different points in our career. We're in different parts of the country. And even me and Brenda are like 30 miles away. The weather could be totally the same or totally different. Snow on the ground in Olympia and just rain down here or clear down here or whatever. But just the day-to-day grind of how we manage our lives while we're working or retired. What do we fill our days with? What books are we reading, right? How do we make the most of the time that we have left here? And I I want to share that I have a 12-year-old doggy who is like my midlife crisis baby. And I have issues with people passing away
Mm-hmm.
that I'm close to. Our first family dog we had to put down as a family. He was 11 years old. It took me 3 years to want another baby, and this girl is it. And I don't think that ever gets better with time. And sometimes people say that losing pets are harder than losing humans, right? And I'm a person who really believes that. So I will be coming in conversations with you guys about death and dying, friendships that are no longer here because we've outgrown them and stuff like that. So loss is a really big thing for me. It impacts me in a hard way, right? So I'm going to lean on you ladies to have conversations with you. And I'm actually started reading the book on Christmas Eve, The Five Regrets of the Dying.
Hmm.
So I forced myself to buy that book and start reading it. And it's not as sad as I anticipated it to be.
Hmm.
So we'll bring that up in another date and talk about some books and articles and stuff like that. So you guys are cat lovers. That's what you guys have in common, that you love
Yeah.
cats.
Yes.
Yes, I have three cats. But before we got the kittens, um, we've had both dogs and cats. And I would say my heart dog passed away last October.
Hmm.
And it was, 18 months before we were ready to get the kittens, because that was very difficult. And I don't have children, so the furry children are my babies. And a lot of people don't understand that connection that we have with our pets and how close they are and how much they give us, and coming running to the door and, oh, you're home. And there's just so much, the unconditional love that they give to us. It is difficult when they pass.
So I have Friskies and Carlos, and Friskies is an 11-year-old long hair orange tabby. And he's right now, he's got his winter coat going. So he's really fluffy, thick. He's got the extra uh, layer of fat too, because they're indoor outdoor and they really love to be
Oh.
outdoors. But they do come in each night, so that's good. In summertime it's harder because there's so much activity. We live out in a rural area where we have a green belt behind us, and we're in a cul-de-sac where they know all the properties around us. They get spotted on the neighbors' cameras, security cameras. They'll say, "Hey, we saw Friskies the other night. I haven't seen him for a while." And then Carlos will go over and visit the neighbors down the street that have indoor girl kitties, and so they even put a cat tree outside for him. Their old cat
Oh.
tree, because we have cat trees outside for the kitties, next to the back window, and then they took that idea and put their old cat tree outside for Carlos to go visit the girls there. And so Carlos is a short hair, black and gray tabby, and they're mostly outdoors, but we're very attached to them. My husband's quite a cat person, and I love dog. Well, we both love dogs too, but with these two cats, we're not going to be able to have anything else. But yeah, it's very hard when you lose uh, the kitties. The last one we lost was Sugar, and that was really really hard for a long time. So I still miss her.
Since we are talking about carnivore and it'll be dispersed throughout our conversations periodically, how do you guys eat? Do you eat a couple of meals a day? Do you snack? What's your food preference, your meal preference, whatever it is that you eat? Meal a day. I've been carnivore since January 2020, but I ventured into this way of life through the ketogenic diet after hitting my rock bottom in June of 2018. So it took me till December 2nd of 2018 to transition and start a new way of life. And the reason I ended up going carnivore is because I kept being triggered. I kept binging. There were too many foods that were allowed. I didn't understand food and sugar addiction until around that time, which we can talk about more later. But my food preferences really are ground beef hamburger patties. I have at least 6 eggs every single day. I love
Mhm.
bacon and sausage and bratwurst and stuff like that. But those items don't love me because I gain an automatic 5 pounds. I do love cheese and plain yogurt, like Greek yogurt and whatnot. So I just try to keep it as simple as possible. What about you, Brenda? What do you prefer? How often do you eat and all that good stuff?
Well, I love the simplicity of carnivore as well. There's because yeah, it's simple. Yet if you want variety, you can do it in the cuts or types and prepar ways to prepare. But yes, I typically eat 2 times a day, maybe three, and my preferences are beef with some occasional like salmon, prawns, some kind of scallops, something like that. But that's occasional. The fish and seafood. Primarily beef. I only eat chicken if I'm trying to serve my husband chicken and decide I'll eat some of it too. um, I love the simplicity of just having that. I did have lamb because I do have lamb in my freezer. I bought part of a lamb to so I will eat lamb too, but I'll eat a lot of things. But basically, beef. Oh, and eggs. Yes, I love eggs and bacon. So the eggs, I love eggs. They are a good staple for me as well. Typically 2 to 3 times a day. Depends. If I fill up well on the first meal, I'm good until much later for the second meal. So that's preferable, but not consistent.
Well, I started carnivore July of 2023, and I was the heaviest I had ever been. And my husband one day just came around the corner and said, "Let's try this carnivore thing." I'm like, "What's that?" He's like, "Well, you eat meat." I'm like, "Okay, I can do that." Um, so I eat mostly 3 times a day, once in a while, just twice a day, but usually it's eggs and bacon for breakfast, either crispy beef or a steak for lunch, and then maybe a piece of salmon on another steak, more beef. Sometimes my husband smokes chicken wings, which are very good.
Hmm.
He's a great cook, but one thing I like about the carnivore is that I can cook for myself. I'm not a very good cook, um, but this is just easy. I can throw a frozen steak in the um, air fryer and it's done in 15 minutes. And it's very easy, and I've really been successful at it.
Hey, friends, thank you so much for joining us on this first episode of Carnivore Plus a little bit more with my co-host Brenda and Miss Becky from Texas. We are so excited to get to know each other more and to bring these conversations to you ladies. So if you guys have anything that you guys want us to address, any questions about our lifestyle or friendships or anything like that, please drop them in the comments and we will holla soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.